Welcome back to Immigration News Today. I know many of you saw headlines recently about a new immigration law being approved, and I understand if you're feeling worried, confused, or even scared right now. When you see phrases like new law approved or major immigration changes, it's natural to wonder what this means for you, your family, your visa, your green card application, or your future plans. I want you to take a deep breath, because today, we're going to cut through the noise together. We're going to separate facts from rumors, explain exactly what's actually happening, who is truly affected, and most importantly, what you need to know and do right now. You deserve clear, honest, reliable information, and that's exactly what we're here to provide. So let's talk about what's really going on. Over the past several weeks, social media platforms, online forums, and even some news outlets have been buzzing with claims about sweeping new immigration laws that have supposedly been approved and are changing everything overnight. I've seen the posts, the videos, the comment sections filled with panic and confusion. People are asking whether their visas are still valid, whether their green card applications will be canceled, whether they need to leave the country immediately, and whether their families are in danger. I want to address this directly and honestly with you right now. First and most importantly, immigration laws in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and other major destination countries do not change overnight. This is crucial to understand. Immigration law is complex, and changes go through extensive official processes. In the United States, for example, any significant change to immigration law must pass through both the House of Representatives and the Senate, then be signed by the President, and even then, implementation takes time, often months or even years. Administrative changes through executive orders or agency policies also require official publication, comment periods, and phased implementation. The same is true in other countries. Canada's immigration system operates through parliament and regulatory processes. The UK has its parliamentary procedures. Australia has its legislative requirements. None of these systems allow laws to simply appear and take effect immediately without warning. So when you see a headline saying new immigration law approved, the first question you should always ask is, approved by whom, approved where in the process, and when does it actually take effect? This is where misinformation thrives, in the gap between proposal and reality, between discussion and actual enforceable law. Let me be very clear about something. As of today, as I'm recording this video, there is no single sweeping new immigration law that has been fully passed, signed, and implemented that fundamentally changes the legal status of people who are already legally present in major immigration destination countries. If you are in the United States on a valid visa, your visa remains valid under current law. If you have a green card, your permanent resident status remains intact under current law. If you're in Canada on a work permit or study permit, those documents remain valid. The same applies to visa holders and residents in other countries. Now, this doesn't mean that nothing is happening. Politics and policy discussions around immigration are very active right now in many countries. There are proposals, draft bills, policy discussions, and debates happening. Some of these proposals could eventually become law, but we need to understand where each one actually stands in the official process. In the United States, there have been proposals in Congress regarding various aspects of immigration, from border security funding to changes in visa categories, from asylum procedures to employment-based immigration pathways. Some of these proposals have been introduced as bills. Some have been discussed in committee hearings. Some have received votes in one chamber but not the other. Some have stalled completely. Very few have actually completed the entire legislative process to become enforceable law. The same pattern exists in other countries. Canada regularly discusses changes to express entry, provincial nominee programs, and temporary resident policies. These discussions happen through official channels, And Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada publishes clear information about what's proposed versus what's actually implemented. The UK government has made various announcements about immigration policy intentions. But again, there's a process between announcement and actual legal change. Australia's immigration debate continues around skilled migration, temporary visas, and pathways to permanent residence. But changes follow established procedures. So who wins and who loses when immigration policies actually do change? This is where we need to think carefully and avoid oversimplification. Immigration policy changes rarely create simple categories of pure winners and pure losers. Instead, they create shifts that affect different groups in different ways. Generally speaking, people who already have permanent resident status or citizenship have the strongest legal protections. This is one of the most important lessons from immigration history. Temporary status, whether it's a visitor visa, student visa, work visa, or any other non-permanent category, is by definition temporary and subject to policy changes, renewals, and evolving requirements. Permanent residence offers much stronger protection, and citizenship offers the strongest protection of all. When countries do make changes to immigration policy, they typically affect future applicants more than current status holders. For example, if a country changes the requirements for a particular visa category, people who already have that visa usually continue under the terms they were granted, while new applicants face the new requirements. If a country changes its point system for skilled immigration, people who already submitted applications often are processed under the old system, while new applicants face the new rules. This principle, sometimes called grandfathering or transition provisions, is common in immigration systems, though not universal. It's why understanding the effective date and transition rules of any policy change is so critical. However, I also need to be honest with you about something else. While existing status holders generally have protections, immigration status can still be affected by individual circumstances. If someone violates the terms of their visa, commits certain crimes, provides false information, or otherwise fails to maintain their legal status, they can face consequences regardless of overall policy changes. This has always been true and remains true. The best protection is always to maintain valid status, follow all requirements, keep accurate records, report changes as required, and when in doubt, consult with a qualified immigration attorney. Now let's talk about what you should actually be doing right now. If you're watching this video from outside your destination country and planning to immigrate, continue following official government immigration websites for your target country. In the United States, that's uscis.gov for immigration services and the State Department website for visa information. In Canada, it's the official IRCC website. In the UK, it's gov.uk. In Australia, it's the Department of Home Affairs website. These official sources publish actual policy changes, not rumors or speculation. Subscribe to official email updates if available. Check these sources regularly, but don't panic over proposals or discussions that haven't become official policy. If you're already in a country on temporary status, make sure you understand your current status, know your expiration dates, understand your renewal requirements, maintain all required documentation, and comply fully with the terms of your authorization. Set reminders well in advance of any deadlines. Keep copies of all your immigration documents. Maintain a clear paper trail of your lawful presence and compliance. If you're eligible to apply for permanent residence, seriously consider doing so, because permanent residence provides much stronger legal protection than any temporary status. If you're a permanent resident, protect that status carefully. Understand the residency requirements for your country. Make sure you don't abandon your residence. Keep evidence of your ties to the country. If you're eligible for citizenship, consider applying, because citizenship provides the ultimate protection and cannot be easily taken away. Citizenship also gives you voting rights, the ability to sponsor family members more easily, and freedom from most immigration concerns. I also want to address some specific rumors that have been spreading online. First, there is no current law in the United States or other major countries that is rounding up and deporting all undocumented immigrants immediately. Immigration enforcement exists and varies by administration and policy, but there is no single sudden change that has created a completely new enforcement regime overnight. Second, there is no current law that is canceling all pending green card applications. Processing times may vary, priorities may shift, requirements may change for future applicants, but existing applications continue to be processed. Third, valid visas are not being canceled en masse. If you have a valid visa, it remains valid unless you violate its terms, or there's an individual problem with your specific case. Fourth, most countries are not closing their borders to all immigrants. Immigration continues in the United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, and other destination countries. The systems remain operational. People are still getting visas, receiving permanent residence, and becoming citizens every single day. What may change are the numbers, the priorities, the categories, or the requirements, but immigration as a whole continues. Fifth, do not believe claims that you need to pay someone immediately to save your immigration status because of some new law. This is a common scam tactic. Fraudulent immigration advisors prey on fear and confusion. If someone is pressuring you to pay money immediately because of some supposed emergency law change, that is a major red flag. This brings me to a critical point about who you should trust for immigration advice. Only certain people are legally authorized to provide immigration advice and represent you in immigration matters. In the United States, this means licensed attorneys who are members of a state bar and authorized immigration representatives accredited by the Board of Immigration Appeals. In Canada, you should work with licensed immigration consultants who are members of the College of Immigration and Citizenship Consultants or with licensed lawyers. In the UK, Australia, and other countries, similar professional requirements exist. Check credentials carefully, verify licenses, be extremely cautious of notarios, immigration consultants who aren't properly licensed, or anyone who guarantees results, asks you to lie on applications, or pressures you into immediate payment. You should also be very careful about getting immigration advice from social media, from friends and family who aren't professionals, or from community members who mean well but don't have accurate information. Immigration law is complex. It varies by individual circumstances, and what was true for one person may not be true for you. What worked 5 years ago may not work today. What applies in one visa category may not apply in another. General information like what we provide on this channel is helpful for understanding the landscape and knowing what questions to ask, but it's not a substitute for personalized legal advice from a qualified professional who reviews your specific situation. So what should you actually do if you're concerned about your immigration status or future? Start by gathering all your immigration documents in one place. Make copies of everything. Create a clear timeline of your immigration history. Write down any questions you have. Then, if you have specific concerns about your individual situation, schedule a consultation with a licensed immigration attorney or authorized representative. Many offer initial consultations at reasonable fees or sometimes even for free. Come to that consultation prepared with your documents and your questions. Be completely honest about your situation. Do not hide information from your attorney because they cannot help you effectively if they don't know the full truth. If you cannot afford an attorney, look for nonprofit legal service organizations in your area. Many communities have organizations that provide free or low-cost immigration legal services to people who qualify based on income. Law school clinics sometimes offer assistance. Some bar associations have pro bono programs. These resources exist, and you should seek them out if you need help but have financial limitations. For those of you planning your immigration journey, remember that immigration is a long-term process, not a quick fix. The strongest and most stable path is always through official legal channels. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it requires patience. Yes, it can be expensive. Yes, it's often frustrating. But legal immigration status that you obtain through proper channels is worth far more than any shortcut or questionable alternative. Build your case properly from the beginning. Gather strong documentation. Be truthful in all your applications. Follow the requirements exactly. Wait for proper approvals before taking any action. This approach might feel slower, but it builds a foundation that will protect you for years to come. I also want to emphasize the importance of staying informed through reliable sources. Immigration policy can change, and you do need to stay aware of what's happening. But there's a difference between staying informed and consuming panic-inducing content that spreads misinformation. Follow official government accounts. Subscribe to updates from legitimate legal organizations like the American Immigration Lawyers Association in the U.S. or equivalent organizations in other countries. Read news from established, fact-checked sources rather than random social media posts. When you see alarming headlines, take a moment to verify the information before panicking or making major decisions. Think critically about what you're reading and hearing. Ask yourself, is this person a reliable source? Are they trying to sell me something? Are they using fear to get my attention? Does this claim match what official sources are saying? Is there an emotional manipulation happening here? These questions can help you filter out misinformation and focus on facts. Remember that immigration is often used as a political issue, and during election cycles or times of political tension, there's often a lot more heat than light in public discussions. Your job is to focus on what actually affects your legal situation, not on political rhetoric. For families, these times can be especially stressful. If you have children, they may be picking up on your anxiety even if you think you're hiding it. It's important to provide them with age-appropriate reassurance. Let them know that your family has legal status, if that's true. Let them know that you're staying informed and taking appropriate action. Let them know that many people are working to help families like yours. If you're worried about what might happen, consult with an attorney about contingency planning, but try not to let fear consume your daily life or your children's sense of security. The reality is that millions of immigrants and their families live, work, study, and build their lives in countries around the world every single day. Immigration systems continue to function. People continue to achieve their dreams of building a better life. Yes, there are challenges. Yes, there are uncertainties. Yes, policy debates continue. But the fundamental promise of immigration, the idea that people can legally move to a new country and build a future there, remains alive and real. Don't let fear rob you of hope, and don't let misinformation rob you of the ability to make good decisions. One final important point. If you or someone you know is facing a genuine immigration emergency, like a deportation order, a denial that needs to be appealed quickly, or an urgent deadline, do not wait. Seek legal help immediately. Immigration cases often have strict deadlines, and missing a deadline can mean losing important rights. Don't assume you have time if you're facing a legal action. Get professional help right away. To summarize everything we've discussed today, there is no single sweeping new immigration law that has suddenly changed everything overnight in major immigration destination countries. Immigration policy discussions and proposals are ongoing, but you need to distinguish between proposals and actual enforceable law. Check official government sources for accurate information. Protect your current legal status by complying with all requirements. Consider pursuing permanent residence and citizenship for stronger protection. Be very careful about immigration fraud and unauthorized advisors. Get personalized legal advice from qualified professionals when you need it. Stay informed through reliable sources, but don't let panic and misinformation control your decisions. And remember that legal immigration pathways continue to exist and work for millions of people. Thank you so much for watching Immigration News today. If this video helped you understand what's really happening with immigration policy and gave you practical guidance on what to do, please subscribe to our channel Global Immigration Updates so you never miss important, accurate, fact-checked immigration information. Hit that notification bell so you're alerted whenever we post new content that cuts through the confusion and gives you the truth. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, because it helps us reach more people who need reliable information. Share this video with your family members, friends, and community members who might be worried about immigration changes, because accurate information is the best cure for fear and confusion. And please leave a comment below. Let us know what immigration topics you'd like us to cover next, what questions you have, or what concerns are on your mind. We read every comment, and your input helps us create content that truly serves your needs. Remember, you're not alone in this journey, and we're here to provide you with clear, honest, trustworthy information every step of the way. Stay informed, stay hopeful, and we'll see you in the next video. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.